What's going on, everyone? So, the big question this upcoming offseason is how much of a roster turnaround are the Lakers going to have? Are they basically going to kind of like tear it down to the studs and just leave the two pillars in LeBron and Luka? Or are they going to kind of just like piece things together? Get a center or two, hopefully two, and then get like one or two, basically like four guys or something like that to kind of bring in and hopefully upgrade the roster enough to contention status. All right. But regardless, I don't think anybody on this roster outside of LeBron and Luka are off limits. I don't think anyone on this roster should be untouchable by any stretch. But I do think there are a couple guys that, I would prefer to keep over others, right? Guys that I think that there are an argument for. And one of those guys that I want to talk about today is Dorian Finney Smith, right? Dorian Finney Smith is kind of what this Lakers team still desperately needs. They need more of, but I think that he's a guy that you want to keep around, right? Hustle plays, does the dirty work, can defend 1 through 5, right? Shoot the three ball. That's what you need. Two-way guys. Yes, Lakers absolutely need the center position. That should be number one priority. But after you solve the center position, Lakers need more perimeter help. They need more athleticism. They need more defensive versatility, right? I'd like some young athletes. And a guy like Dorian Finney Smith, I don't want to lose him to bring in somebody else that's just giving you what Dorian Finney Smith does. I'd rather keep Dorian Finney Smith and then add another piece to him. So now you have multiple guys, right? Like Dorian Finney Smith was our best plus minus guy every night from the moment he came to Lakers. And it wasn't a coincidence. Again, his hustle, his effort, his energy, the things that he does on a nightly basis that doesn't show up on the box scores. Most people look at it and go like, oh, unless this guy's giving you 15 a night, he's not doing anything. It's not the case with Dorian Finney Smith. He is so incredibly impactful, so incredibly important. He's a veteran that knows his role, understands his role. You need those guys. You need those guys that you can trust and rely on in big moments, big spots, get to the playoffs, right? He can come off the bench, do multiple things, depending on how this roster shapes up, maybe even start him, right? Like that's the kind of thing that the Lakers need to consider. And I do think Dorian Finney Smith, who they can give a new contract to, new extension, right? Maybe you're working something out to where maybe he's getting a slightly less dollar, but longer term deal. He has familiarity with Luka. I think he'll want to stick around. 1, it's the Lakers. 2, he's playing with his buddy Luka, who the two of them always wanted to play together. I mean, there was even audio after he was traded where they were talking about like, hey, we're going to play together again someday, and then fast forward to the Lakers. And there's even like arguments that like the Lakers might have went and got Dorian Finney Smith because of Luka, right? Because they were like around the time they got Dorian Finney Smith was roughly around the time that Luka kind of came into the picture with Rob Pelinka. Now, obviously, we don't know that, but it does make some sense. Like Dorian Finney Smith is a Luka guy, so it's like, hey, convince him because Luka can use a new extension, right? So if you can do something where you keep Dorian Finney Smith and his versatility and the defense that he provides and just having him as a key guy off the bench, I think is very valuable. You need those guys that can hit the three ball. I understand that he can be a little streaky, a little inconsistent at times from three, but that's why he's probably best suited in a backup role where if you can go get, two guys in the starting unit, right? Like let's say you get a Mark Williams, just an example, right? And then if you can pry a Jonathan Kuminga from, the Golden State Warriors, right? Boom, as your 3, and then go trade for a Jalen Suggs or something like that, right? Now you have like Luka, Suggs, so you got like a legit 3-and-D 2 guard. You got, a young, athletic, versatile wing, and then got your skilled center alongside LeBron and Luka. Boom, now you just have better balance in the starting unit. Well, you need guys off the bench, right? Well, that's where a guy like a Dorian Finney Smith comes in. And you get a Nickeil Alexander-Walker, right? Maybe instead of, because Jonathan Kuminga's the Warriors, that might be tough. Let's say Nickeil Alexander-Walker, right? So like, let's say, probably a better example, right? Let's say Luka, Jalen Suggs, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, LeBron James, and, a Mark Williams. Boom. Now you got better balance, versatility, youth, athleticism. You got everything that you want alongside Luka and LeBron. Dorian Finney Smith still is a key value piece. So when a Nickeil Alexander-Walker goes to the bench or Jalen Suggs goes to the bench, right, you can switch and bring in a Dorian Finney Smith, right? So like, say you take out, Suggs, boom, he goes to the bench to get some rest. You could slide Nickeil Alexander-Walker to the 2, bring in Dorian Finney Smith. Or say, keeping Suggs, take out Nickeil Alexander-Walker, boom, Dorian Finney Smith slots into the 2. Or you could slot him into the 4. Right, LeBron goes to the bench. Maybe you keep Suggs and Walker out there. Boom, add in a Dorian Finney Smith, and now you got that 3-and-D defensive versatility still, and just got the balance. That's the beauty of Dorian Finney Smith. If you want to go to small ball units, right? Having Dorian Finney Smith out there to just be versatile and rebound and defend and do multiple things, right? Like, I don't want to see the Lakers basically make trade-offs, right? Like, the only example that I would make for like a trade-off would be like Jared Vanderbilt. I love Jared Vanderbilt. I would love to keep Jared Vanderbilt. But if you could trade Jared Vanderbilt to get a legit two-way guy, right? I would definitely do that, right? Even if he's not as great, like, because Jared Vanderbilt, the thing about Jared Vanderbilt, like, elite defense, hustle, effort, energy, you can rebound, you can do everything, right? Except score the basketball. Like, he gives you like no offensive production, right? So if you could get a guy that, yes, is not elite, but is like good defensively and good offensively, that's just a better balance for the Lakers and what the Lakers need than Jared Vanderbilt, who's elite defensively, but abysmal offensively, right? And so to me, I think that those are the kind of things that the Lakers need. Those are the kind of trade-offs that you can kind of live with and justify. Those are the kind of trade-offs you can go like, okay, like we can live with that, right? But to go and trade a Dorian Finney Smith or let a Dorian Finney Smith go to then bring in a Nickeil Alexander-Walker, it's like, yeah, age-wise, that's a better trade-off. But like outside of that, like all you're doing is replacing Dorian Finney Smith with like a younger, smaller Dorian Finney Smith, right? Like I don't want that type of wash. I don't want that type of like trade-off. So to me, it's like keep Dorian Finney Smith. Go and make the little moves, do the little things, do whatever you have to do, right? Like take Dalton Connect in a pick and go get a Mark Williams, right? Whatever you have to do. Then go sign a Nickeil Alexander-Walker. And then, like I said, can you turn Austin Reeves into like a Dyson Daniels or something like that, right? Like now you're like I said, you're just much more balanced. And you now have those wings and those defenders and those guys off the bench and like a Dorian Finney. Like Lakers need more Dorian Finney Smith. They don't need less or washed, right? Like they don't need it to basically wash itself out. They need that balance overall, that versatility, the hustle, the effort, the energy that he brings, that he provides on a nightly basis. Can on any given night knock down 3, 4, 5 threes, right? And give you an offensive game, right? Build that consistency, continue to build that foundation and that chemistry with LeBron and Luka, right? And, you know, I mean, I know he already has it, but, you know, still, like, it doesn't hurt to keep building that chemistry amongst this team. In my opinion, there's like 3, maybe 4 guys that I think you got to keep on this roster unless something crazy comes along, right? Like if Giannis becomes available, which I want to be very clear, I'm just using that as an extreme example, right? If Giannis is like, I only want to go to the Lakers, right? And it's something where it's like, okay, well, we'd have to trade Dorian Finney Smith. Then sure, right? But outside of that, I think you keep Dorian Finney Smith, right? Unless you got the 2 or 3 three-way guys and a team's like, you know, hey, we'll take Dorian Finney Smith and give you this guy, whatever, right? Outside of that, I just think Dorian Finney Smith has to stay a Laker. I think he's too valuable to this team. I think the hustle, the effort, the energy, what you need over the course of the season, and then especially come playoff time, a veteran guy that you can trust, rely on, throw him out there, and he's going to do the dirty work. He's going to make the hustle plays. He's going to play his role. He knows his role, understands his role, plays it well, and is not going to try to go outside of his role, right? Those are the kind of guys you need. You need those guys that are going to complement LeBron and Luka next season. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How you feel with your thoughts? Do you agree with me? Disagree with me? Kind of mixed in the middle? How do you feel either way? I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.